Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another part for chapter number 8, which is characters and strings. I'm doing several parts for this chapter because there are a lot of functions, and just to ease you people so that you can have an idea in each part and you can practice all these functions one by one. So this is actually part number 4 for this chapter number 8, and which we are going to again discuss uh, four uh, 4 or 5 more of the chapter number 8 string functions, or actually from the String.h library. And in the last one we had done this last thing, that was the string compare and string n compare over there at strcmp and then strncmp, where cmp stands for compare and n stands for. And if you remember it, if I just run this here in front of you again, then this was giving you that you are comparing this Happy New Year with Happy Holidays, or you were comparing the S1 and S2. And remember one thing here, the output of this strcmp was an integer that was giving you the output either 0 or positive or negative, depending upon the first argument with respect to the second argument. Okay, now going on further, there are some search functions, which means that you will want to actually do some searching inside your string handling over there. For that purpose, again, you are going to use the String.h library. So the first function, I guess I have done this one in the last one also, but again, just repeating it over here for the audience. So over here, strchr, here, the name actually is that it will actually locate the occurrence of the first character that is actually the first occurrence inside this S string over there, or actually the pointer to the string inside the memory. And here the second parameter is actually an ASCII number. That's why it's actually int over there. You can actually send a character also, which will be an 8-bit number. So here the parameter will actually be either an alphabet A to Z, capital or small over there. So you can actually try to find out inside it, or maybe you actually are trying to find out the occurrence of a dollar mark or maybe a question mark and all that. The return type of this function is character, or this is actually going to be a pointer. So this will be actually to the point where that character is going to be found. So it's a first occurrence. So if you have, like, supposing you're trying to find out A alphabet inside a string which is stored over there. So wherever that A is going to be there, the first time it is found out inside that string, that will be the pointer location that will be returned over there. Now, if that is equal to null, that means that that particular character is not found over there. And for that purpose, we have this function over there from the inbuilt library, sorry, the examples given inside the book. I'm using that one over there. You can see the include over there, that is String.h over there. And I have two characters which I want to actually find out, A and Z, inside this text over there. This is a test. So over here, if character 1 is found out inside the string, so over here you can see the if statement, and inside the if statement I have used this function over there, which is strchr brackets open. The first parameter is actually the string over there, actually a pointer being given inside it, because this is the pointer. And then character 1 is actually the character input. You can actually input elf ASCII value also over here. I will show you this one later on when I have done this example. And if this is not equal to null, this means that the character is found inside this trunk. So if this is A being found out, so this is going to be found out. So when this is going to be done, the printf statement, that is actually %C specifier, that is character 1, which is actually A, was found out inside the string, that is going to be using the double quotes over there. Remember, for double quotes, you are using this backslash and double quotes over there, and then %S is over there. So else, if this is not found out, and if it is equal to null, this means that that is not found out, then this statement of printf will be done. Similarly, another one over there where you are using this one for character 2 over there. So let's just run it and see what is the result of it. Of course, we know it, since A is going to be found out at this point. So this is going to be the output over there. So if I just, sorry, not selecting it, I have to do this mistake every time. So you can see over here, A was found inside, and this is a text, and Z was found inside it. And if I can change this character one, let's say I change this to supposedly T. So over here, if I save it over there, T is found out at this point over there. So if I just run it over there, and not again selecting it, so you can see T was found inside it and Z was not found inside it. Now, instead of, let's say, if I want to actually find out, let's say I want to actually again call this thing, let's say I have this one character is Tarek over there, and let's say this is PTR and this is equal to null initially. And over here, I want to call out this ptr equal to, and here I want to call this function again over there. Now, this is something very important, what I'm trying to do over there. I'm trying to find out, so see over there, and I'm trying to find out from this string to character one, which is actually T over there. So I'm trying to find out, and the output of this one will be a pointer, which will be saved inside this PTR. And afterwards, when this is done, I want to actually printf this statement. So the word found is at, oh, sorry, the character actually, the thing is that I'm actually trying to find out. The character is found at, and here afterwards, I'm just going to use percentage %s, and here I'm going to use that PTR over there. So hopefully this works. I have not done some mistake over there. So what it's going to do, it's going to find out that particular pointer, and this test should not be printed now. So let's see if this is not an error. I have not, I have selected again, sorry. This is a mistake already done. And you can see now the character is found at test. So this is that. So wherever that T word is found out, so what I'm actually trying to tell you here, you are just using it for an if else statement. Here I am using it for storing that pointer inside a variable. And remember, this is the way how you can actually use these functions in another way. And you want to find out, let's supposedly I want to find out the word I. So that will be, if I want to find out I over there, let's say this is I over there. So now when I'm going to do it, this I will be found out here. So what is going to be printed now? That will be is space is a space a space test over there. So when I'm just going to run it, you can see now this is the is our test, because th is skipped and it goes on. So this is a very important function for which you can actually find out any character inside a string, the first occurrence of that is actually the first thing. Next thing, next function, which is strcspn, which actually determines and returns the length. Now here, the output is not a pointer, it's actually the size underscore t, which is actually the length of that, the remaining where this is not going to be found or not contained. So it determines and returns the length of the initial segment of S1 consisting of characters not contained in string S2. So this is something very important. So what is going to happen now? Let me just use again the example over there. Let me just show this example over here. You can see over there, this is my string first, string one, and this is my string two. So any character which is found inside string two, and if it is found inside string one, if it wherever it is found, the remaining length will be written over there, and that will be the length of the initial segment of strings one containing no characters from string two. So when I'm just going to run this one, the answer would be here 13, and this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now, supposingly, if I had changed this thing to, let's say, S over there. So if we're just having S, I know where S is going to be found out. S is somewhat here. So now the answer would be approximately 11. So let's see again, sorry, I'm selecting it. So when I do it, you can see the string 2 is S and this is 11. So in this way, you can find out a particular character, the point where it is not available. So let's say if I change this to, let's say, H over there, H is found at approximately at the second location. So the answer this time will be just equal to 1. So you can see this is just equal to 1. So very simple function, and that is actually going to give you the size or returns the length of the initial segment of the string S1 that is not consisting of any character from S2. Very simple function. Now the third one is something almost similar to this one with a negative output, and that determines and returns the length of the initial segment of S1 consisting only of the characters contained in S2. So this is strspn. So let's see if this I change it to spn instead of c, I take it out, and now this time containing, so if I have this one, so now if I just change, I've just changed this function over there, and if I just do it, you can see it's 0. Why it's 0? Because h is found initially just over here. So you can see very easily over there that if I have just changed it over there, you're just getting 0 over there. Or the example which is already included inside it, that is actually not this one actually. Where is the example actually? I have missed some example. Okay, this one. I will just go with this thing. So this is str spn. So if instead of h over there, let's say I point it to equal to 3. So now what will be the answer? Let's see over there. Again, it's 0. Why it's 0? It's 0 because the statement return, it determines and returns the length of the initial segment of S1 consisting only of characters contained in string S2. So whatever is provided inside S2, it's going to give a return of it that is available inside it. So since it's available over there already, that's why it's giving me an answer 0. So this output and this function, they both are almost the same, just negative of each other. So that's why you are getting the output over there. Here you are getting 0, here they were getting 13 or 11 over there. Then the next function over there, you kindly play with these two for different kinds of strings so that you can have an idea what I'm actually talking about over here. Then you have again another character pointer as an output. You have strpbrk. Now this is actually a little different. This is actually locating the first occurrence in string S2 of any character in S2. And if a character, now this is a little different from the first one. This was the first occurrence of the character. Here, first occurrence of any character in S2, if a character from S2 is found, stbrk returns a pointer to that character, otherwise it returns null. So let's see the example, which is already included inside over there. Here you can see over there what is happening over there. Of the characters in string 2, stbrk appears earliest in this one. So here you have bevar, beware. Here B is not found. E, yes, E is found, and E is somewhere found here. But here you have also a W, not found. A is also there, and A comes first. So the answer over here would be relative to A. So when I'm going to run this thing, you can see A appears earliest in this is a test over there. So here you can see A. So it is giving me an output of where that A is going to be found out over there. So of the characters in string 2, strpbrk, this gives us the output here. And you can use it again as a pointer over there. So the output would be actually A test over there. So just say if I have the again same output, let's say I want to use the same thing over there, this same thing. Let me just copy this thing over there, and I want to use this one over there. And here I have this is going to be string 1. Here this is going to be string 2, and I have going to use it as strp brk. So here I'm going to just have it print the character, uh, any of the character. In fact, the word would be any of the character is found at here. So when I'm just going to run it, so this is, you can see R test. Why? Because A was found out at this point. Now, supposingly, I had a word change over there that was S over there. Now, since S is going to be found out even earlier than A, so now this time the answer would be S space is our test over there. So let me just run it, and you will see now S is a test over there. So you can see over there, this is a little different from the first one over there. So this is actually giving you the output from any of these one. Which one comes first? So this actually is for the whole of the character. The previous one, it was just a one character. Here you can give multiple of characters as a string inside over there, as a pointer to a string over there. So strpbrk works for a collection of characters inside a string, which can be found out in S1. Here strchr works for just one character, so that the output is actually going to be wherever that character is found out. Then next one, very, very important one, and that is going to be used a lot in your lab as well if you're going to do a lab on this one. That is locates the last occurrence of C in string S. So it locates the last occurrence of the C in string S. If C is found out, here this is going to give you the last occurrence wherever that word is being used over there. So this is exactly just like the previous one. Here this was RCHR, there this is now RRCHR over there. So this is the last occurrence, this is the first occurrence. So if you want to find out multiple times over there, now that can be another function. Try to implement it as an assignment over there, and you will find out the reason how this is going to be there. I'm not going to go through this example over there. You can go it over there because this is just going to return a pointer to the last occurrence of that int, which is going to be found out, or the ASCII value, which is going to be found out over there. Then the very important one, which is str. Here, this is actually going to be now searching for the whole string. So if the string is found out, str returns a pointer to the string in S1, otherwise it returns null. And this is something very much important because you are trying to find out the name over there. And this is actually the same example. You can go it over there. You can trying to find out zoo over there. So a pointer to that will be found out over there. A zoo has many animals, including zebras. You can go through this example yourself. Now, what I'm actually talking about over there, this is actually that CS example which I was talking about. I've done already this one previously. So here, this is actually str. So here, I'm trying to find out this particular thing inside this whole statement. Now, this def is found out here. So now when this is going to be the remainder of the string 1, beginning with the first occurrence of string 2. So wherever this def is found out, the remaining will be the printed, because the pointer to that particular point wherever it is found out is actually going to be there. So if I just run it now, this will be printing out def a b c a c d e f over there. You can see. So this is actually printed over there. Now let's say I have a statement, I have a name, let's say my name, since it has three words over there, and here I want to find out, because almost my father's name is Rahim. So in fact, it's actually Abdul Rahim. So over here, if this is Rahim over there, now I want to find out this word Rahim over there. So it will automatically find out here inside it over there. And now when I'm going to print it, you can see over there, it's printed. So you can use this thing if it is going to give you an output as null. This means that you are not going to find out any name. So you can use this particular function to find out your particular word inside that string or inside that file or something like that. Very easily. So in this way, you can find out a string inside a long length of strings, inside a long sentence where you have a lot amount of strings added or lot amount of words inside it. So it's just like a substring inside a string, and you're going to find out. So if supposedly I'm trying to find out, let's say A over there. Now capital A, now this is actually a problem. Capital A can be here also. Capital A is here also. Let's see what it gives me as an output. So when I just run it over there, now you can see it has found out here because A is found out first of all. Otherwise, if I had supposedly, let's say I had it over there, A and Rahim. Now this is only going to be found out here, this particular. It searched the whole S2. Wherever that S2 comes out, it gives the output. So not selecting it again the same issue, and you can see now A Rahim. So in this way, if supposedly you have a file in which you are going to add your first name, your last name, your middle name, and you have all that data over there, and you want to find out a particular name inside it over there, you can use this function, which is str, which is string, which means you are trying to find out one string inside another string, or actually a substring inside a string. So this is the actually a very simple function, again giving you an output for the pointer over there, and this is actually going to be printing that character pointer, or actually the string pointer to that memory location wherever it is located. So a very, very simple function. And all of these, many of these are having the character pointer or a string pointer being output over there. The last one is something very, very important, and you will be losing it a lot inside your file stream functions, which is actually called as tokenizer. Now, what is a tokenizer? Without going inside this whole statement over there, if I just give you the example in front of you, let me just open the example in front of you. I have this example over there. Now, this is actually a very simple string. Instead of using an array, you can point it as a string pointer inside the memory also. This is a sentence with 7 tokens. Now here, why it is called 7 tokens? Because there is a space over there. This space, then this space, then this space, then this space, then this space. So they are like 7 spaces over there. So the string to be tokenized is, you are just printing that string over there inside this one. Then puts the tokens are, and then afterwards, now the here trick comes in. The trick is this, that you are actually initializing a pointer over here. This is actually a pointer. You can do it in 2 lines as well, totally up to you. You can do it something like this, that you make it equal to null, point it over there, and here you can put a token ptr over there like this. So this will also work. There is no issues over there. You can do it in 1 line as well, but it's better to initialize all your pointers to null, or actually to 0, so that they are not going to be printing out anything. Better for null, because we are going to have some if-else statement. Here, instead of if-else statement, you have a while statement. Now here, the first time you're calling this token PTR, or sorry, the str to token. Inside it, the first parameter is a string which you want to tokenize. Tokenize means that you are actually separating the whole substrings inside it by using, and the second argument inside inverted quotes is actually the space or dash. I will show you the dash as well. So here you are starting the tokenizing procedure, and then afterwards you are starting a while loop over there, and inside that while loop you have token ptr, which is actually that pointer to that character or that string pointer, and that is not equal to null. And when this is not equal to null, which means that there is some value, so first of all it will be pointing out to this thing, then it will be pointing out to I, then it will be pointing out to A, then it will be pointing out to sentence, then it will be pointing out to width, then it will be pointing out to 7, and then it will be pointing out to tokens. Now, for that purpose, every time when you are inside this while loop, you can see over there, you are printing your printf first, and you are printing that token PTR. So it will only print that particular token over there that is separated. It will not print the whole sentence over there. It will only print that particular token which you are actually trying to find out. So over here, this will be token PTR. Then afterwards, inside the while loop, you will have to call that again function, but this time the first parameter would be null. The first parameter would be null. This time it will not be string because string is already there. It is the very same. So it will again keep on calling and again over there. So just to avoid that thing, they have decided this, that you all try to find out the next token, give the function null as the first parameter, because the function is already inside that, or the string is already inside that function. So it is going to give a null, and you are going to get it printed over there. So when I'm going to just run this thing, let's save it. Let me just arrange it, as you can see what is happening over there. So this string is going to be tokenized. This is a sentence with 7 tokens. The tokens are, and you can see this is a sentence with 7 tokens. Now, this is very simple. And over here, instead of null, let's say if I pass on that string over there. So what will happen now? Let's see. I guess this is also something. You can see now what is happening. It has gone inside an infinite loop, and always the first thing is being printed over there. Why? Because every time you are passing that same thing over there. So the second time when you want to call it, so null is actually going to be the, so you want to break this statement, you have to, sorry, control C. Let me just put it on over there. Yes, I have broken this part. So here inside the while loop, if you want to now print it, you have to give it null. So it will find out that null terminator over there, and it will find out whenever that null happens, it will be token PTR will be equal to that null. Then this while loop will be gone. Now, one thing which you can do over there, let's say, instead of having this sentence over there, let me just write down my whole name, and here, instead of this space over there, let me just put in dash. Normally, I put a dash. From my school life, I'm putting this dash. My parents have actually used this dash a lot. It's not space over there, it's actually dash over there. So when I will now, this time, instead of space over there, if I just put in space, it will not find out any space, so the tokens are the full name. But here, instead of this space over there, if I put a dash, and how here I put a dash, now it will find out that dash and now separate it for those 3 words over there. So Arsalan is separate, A is separate, Rahim is separate. So this is a very perfect function to separate different tokens or different substrings inside your whole string over there, and this is a perfect way of doing it. But remember, the first time you pass this function, it has to be passed on to a character pointer, or actually a string pointer, you can call it. But remember, I always call it as a character pointer because you have to initialize it as a character, but practically it is pointing out towards a string inside the memory. So because whenever it is going to be called out, it will be pointing out towards lan first, and then afterward it will be pointing out to A, then it will be pointing out to Rahim over there. So it is actually going to be called as a character pointer. But since it's pointing to a string, that's why I use the word as string pointer. But remember, there is no data type such as string inside C. We always have to use the character data type, because character is the only data type available for string entering or a string storing data over there. So whenever you are trying to find out this, use this one, you have to first of all call this one with the original parameter of that string over there. And when you are inside some if else statement or a while loop statement over there, then inside that one, you have to again call it by using null as the first one, because now the function has been called inside. You only have to tell it that, okay, stop it when it is null which is approximately at this point when M is going to be encountered over there. That is the point. The null terminator will be applied over there. That is actually going to be the end of that string or end of that character over there. That is actually going to be printed. So this is a very important function, and you will be using this function again when your data is available inside your file over there by using some spaces over there, or using some dash over there, or maybe a percentage sign over there, or maybe something like that. Let's say, let's see over here, this one. I have this one. Let's say I have 51.2%, and then I have 45.4%, and then I have 89.2. Now remember, these are not integers or numbers. Now this time I am going to use percentage sign to separate the data. So what I am doing over there, I am using percentage sign to separate the data. So now when I am going to print this thing, you can see 51.2, then 45.2, 89.3. Yes, of course, space is being printed. You can ignore that space inside an if else statement before printing it over there. So you can do that one as well. If you can use the character C over there and then increment it using that pointer configuration, and you can do it. In fact, it will be a very good assignment for you, that here this will be C, use it inside a for loop inside it. So token PTR is printed word by word, and it does not print that spaces over there. Now you are getting 51.2, 45.2, and 89.3. So if your statement or string has some over there, let's say instead of percentage, supposedly this is the voltage V over there. So you want to tokenize it over there, and here this time the V statement is going to be used over there. So now it will separate 51.2 from that, and the answer will be there in front of you. And when you will do it, again, sorry, I have highlighted it, and when you have done it, you have got 51.2 separate. Now, when you have got 51.2 separate, you can store it inside an integer after typecasting it, so that you can do very easily by using the integer over there. So this is one way of doing it. Yes, of course, the separate other ones, for that separation, you will have to use another tokenizer over there, because they are based on, maybe supposedly this is also voltage, but this, let's say it is equal to some amperes over there. So you can choose inside your while loop, you can use a different tokenizer for different values. If you know your data is being separated by some volts, here supposedly this is watts over there, because normally your data is stored inside a file, and that file is going to have a lot amount of data which is being populated by a logger, which is actually measuring the data and putting all that data. And now you want to actually display it, or you want to use it for some other constructive purposes, or using some if else statements, or you want to turn on some fan or something like that, or the battery voltage or something like that. You can do a lot amount of stuff. Here you are actually tokenizing it by using this function, which is strtok, that is actually tokenizing your string inside some parts. So these are all the functions, and these are again already available inside your String.h library. Try to use this function or draw these functions using pointers or arrays over there on your own. Their implementation is available. You don't need, but sometimes you have to implement them yourself, and they are very, very easy to implement it. You can do that one yourself also. Kindly go through this one example. I already have done through them over there. These are all the examples over there for the strchr or strspn. That is actually the same thing for if you want to find out the strings over there or the tokenizer over there. Now, before I move on to the memory functions, I will just go through this one, and maybe in the next part, I will give you a little bit more idea. But here, what are these memory functions? Now, remember, whenever you want to actually copy something from memory, one way is it that you copy from one string to another, one integer to another, or something like that. But here, you are actually going to copy from directly from the memory. So here what you are doing over there, you have a function which is called as memcopy, or memcpy. And here you are going to copy n bytes from the object pointed to by S2. So wherever this S2 is being pointed out over there, into the object pointed out by S1, and return a pointer to the resulting object over there. So this is a function which is going to copy whatever bytes you have told over there. Again, remember, this is bytes, because the data C language, when it was made, the data was arranged in bytes over there, and still it is byte oriented. So here this is going to be like, supposedly you have called it 4 bytes. So this 4 bytes are going to be copied from this S2 and going to be pasted inside S1. This is memory copy over there. Now, when this is call about memory move over there, so you are going to copy n bytes from the object pointed to by S2 into the object pointed by S1. So you are going to do exactly the same thing. The copy is performed as if the bytes were first copied from the object pointed to into a temporary array, and then from a temporary array into the object pointed to by S1. A pointer to the resulting object is returned over there. So this is a little different from this one. Here you are copying over there. Here you are also copying over there. But this copy is performed as if the bytes were first copied from an object pointed to by S2 into a temporary array, and then from the temporary array into the object pointed to by S1. Now, what is the difference that will be visible inside the examples, which I will show you in the next part over there. But here, these two are exactly the same thing. Here, this is memory copy. Here, this is memory move over there. So memory move, as the name suggests, will be the source thing will be actually decimated after it has been moved over there. We will see that one in the example. Let's go on to the next one. That is actually again mem compare. Now this is actually comparing memory compare. So one location which is at S1, one location is at S2, and you are going to compare the first n bytes of the object pointed to by S1 and S2. Again, the same thing, just like strings over there. So the function returns 0, less than 0 or greater than 0 if S1 is equal to less than or greater than S2. So exactly the same thing, just like string comparisons over there. So this is exactly same thing, but again here you are using memory direct over there. You're not using any strings, you're not using anything, you're not using any of the build defined inside your C code over there. You're just directly using the memory over there. Then you have a memory mctr. Now this locates the first occurrence, just like strings over there. If you remember, there was the function just now we did it, that you are going to locate one character inside your string over there. So this locates the first occurrence of C converted to unsigned character. Again, this is going to be that ASCII value in the first n bytes of the object pointed to by S over there. So whatever ASCII value you have given over there, or whatever character inside single quotes you have given over there, that will be found out inside S, whatever n bytes over there. So this is going to find out that how the first occurrence locates the first occurrence over there, and it's going to give you the output. So if C is found, this returns a pointer to the C in the object, otherwise it returns null. Remember, this returns null. If it is not found, then it is going to be returning the null. The last thing, very important, this is memory set. So this copies the converted C. So this means this is going to be copying the value of this C, whatever the ASCII value or the character over there, into the first n bytes of the object pointed to by S, then return a pointer to the result. So here you are just finding out, here you are copying this value inside S over there. So these are all memory functions over there. In the next part, I will show you the examples of all these 5 functions over there. Meanwhile, you can go through this one over there, and I will try to do this. You can see over there, this is the memory copy, S1, S2. S1, S2 are the names of the variables over there, and they can be anything. They can be array, they can be whatever stuff over there inside the memory. And you are just copying the first 17 over there from S2 inside S1 over there. So after it is copied over there, so this is also going to have similar thing. I will show you this example over there in Visual Studio. I just don't want to extend this part over there. I hope you have gone through this all and you have learned something on all this function. Chapter number 8 has a lot amount of functions over there. And in the next part, I will show you these mem copy, the memory move over there, or the memory compare over there. You can see you are comparing two, again, character arrays over there. And here you are going to have, again, this is a string, and you are going to copy it character inside. You are trying to find out R over there. You can see R is found out here. So this will be pointing out to that ring over there. And similarly, we'll have another mem set over there. I told you, you are going to replace that B over there from the first 7 over there. So when you are going to run it, this B is going to be copied over there in the first 7 over there, string over there, which is actually again a character array over there. And then the last thing would be the str error, which is something, and the str length, just like your array length over there, that was the size of. If you want to find out the string length, this is also found out by strlen, and this function is also available over there, I guess, in the last part of this chapter. If I have missed it, yes, they are str error and the str length, which actually gives you the compiler error number or the compiler or the string length over there in these two functions. I will come with these examples in the next part over there. So these are two functions, and this will complete chapter number 8. over there. I hope you have learned something. Thank you, and Allah Hafiz.